Today is August 1st.
Shit, is it?
It is.
Oh, God.
This is episode 28 of Talk Story. Here we are at South Beach, First Shop, Miami Beach, Florida.
Making things happen.
Miami.
Miami. Yeah.
It's not your
We're
Miami?
repeating episode 20. This is 20.
Well, this is in addition
20.
to. This is maybe 20 whatever part
28.
something else.
Surf was up.
Oh, guest appearance.
Coming in.
Southeast job.
I'm Brad Wells. We got Christian over here. And back for a repeat performance,
Yeah, we'll see.
Amy Cobb.
Amy Cobb. Welcome back, Amy.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Exciting.
Pleasure to be here.
So, let's get right into it.
Let's do it.
What's going on in the weekly happenings?
Weeking haps. Well, we had some waves today. I mean, that's kind of
that's report and forecast. You're jumping ahead of yourself.
But I mean, that is
just
not
wanna get
necessarily a forecast. It is happening now.
That's
it is a
report.
hap.
Yeah.
It is a hap.
Oh, boy.
So it's
fine.
happening now.
Here we go.
I'm mincing words. You're right. Everyone's a little
Let's-
excited. It's been flat for so long.
All right.
Let me just give you your glory moment here.
Everyone's
Go for it.
Go on.
amped. Board rentals are out the
Yeah.
roof. You know,
Hoping I can surf in the morning.
There is.
I hope
Hopefully
there's
the
gonna
winds
be,
pick back
you know.
up again. But you know what? We'll tap into that on the forecast.
Oh, there
As
you
one
go.
Bradley
Bring
would.
it
Go
right
ahead and
back.
bring it
Thank
back.
you.
But
we got a
but
whole run a show here.
past that, not much going on. We are coming into August. It's a
got
summer
better.
here. It is what it is.
It is
This
what it
weekend
is.
there is a mango festival
Mango
going on in
Fest.
South Beach. So if you like mangoes,
Like
cruise
I
on
love
down
mangoes.
Brad loves mangoes.
off of Ocean Drive and 12th Street.
gonna be
They'll
awesome.
be having mango kebabs,
A
mango
lot of
pie,
mangoes.
Mango-litas.
Mango pie?
Mango
Is that what you
Ritas.
said?
Yeah.
Mango every which way.
Yeah.
Wow.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So swing by this weekend on the
The whole weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the whole weekend. And then you know what? While you're up there, swing by the surf shop as well. Say what's up. Bring me a mango. I'll be working.
What else? Oh, if you guys don't know, if you watch this on Instagram or you watch this on YouTube, we do have a podcast, like a full-on audio podcast. It went live. How long ago, Caleb?
3-4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's like a little
So,
radio station. Just listen.
I mean, we're doing multimedia here. We're on
awesome.
the gram, we're on your Facebook, we're on your YouTube,
Fake
we're
book.
on your podcast things.
Yes.
Caleb?
iTunes, Apple
iTunes?
Podcasts,
Oh, wow.
Spotify,
Pretty much everything
Google
that's there.
Podcasts, anywhere you get a
You
podcast.
can find it.
Right.
it's
If
there.
you hit that little magnifying glass and look for Thank You Surfing, you're going to
Thank You
find
Surfing.
us. And
We're there.
That is like, that
Thank
could be a
you.
good jingle.
Yeah.
I
We're
hate
gonna
jingles,
clip
but that one actually
out,
works.
Oh, it works.
Put it on the front. of
Apparently,
every episode.
Disney is interested.
Disney.
Wow.
wants to get in on it.
You know, I
That's
don't
big.
know if I'm interested in Disney, you
That's-
know?
No,
Hey,
no,
nothing's-
not into
Is
it.
it Disney
We haven't-
XD or is it? I don't know.
don't even know.
Okay.
My
What other
daughter
weekly
be
haps?
stoked.
You guys had that sale last week. That was
We
awesome.
did have a sale last week, and we actually have some of that stuff that we did the sale still available on sale. Not as big of a discount.
Really?
So you can definitely swing by and get some good digs. I mean, that's what summer is really about.
There's a lot of stuff in the shop.
Yeah.
Clearance.
Looks good.
Yeah,
Clearance.
It's really clearing stuff out. We kind
Clearance.
of come into that point of the year where you got a little extra inventory.
Different
Let's go ahead and
season.
return some of that benefit to our locals and community. Let's clear the shop out, get ready for the next season coming
Yee.
up. So definitely swing by, get some good deals.
Yeah.
Cool.
Get ready for that North Swell.
Yes.
You got any other weekly haps?
What do you got going on?
Oh, man.
What's going on in Fort Pierce?
Me? Really? Well, you know what? We've had some little waves. It's been one of those like every day you go there and it's like thigh to waist high,
Oh.
perfect for the kids, glassy. Yeah, super fun, super sharky.
Has been, huh?
But you know the water when you're there, high tide and outgoing or incoming is the best. You can see them.
How about seaweed? A lot of seaweed up
No,
there?
no, but I did get some sea lice, so I'm not gonna lie, and I did not see any seaweed.
How's that Lake Okeechobee outflow
Yeah,
stuff
you know
working
what?
with you
It
guys?
really sucks. I'm not gonna lie. And you know what? It affects fishing too. You know, like it really does.
Which is a big part of your life.
It's a huge part of my life. My husband's a commercial fisherman, and
That would do it.
you know, I mean, between that and the BP oil spill that happened 10 years ago, you know, it's a huge
Heavy.
impact that people don't really understand, but like it really is. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
and
more than
it's
a weekly
gross.
happening.
You know, like you see that low tide coming out the inlet, and everybody's just like, we're out. You know, it's pretty
Wow.
sad. Yeah, yeah. So you time everything by the tide. Go
Right.
out
Oh,
there.
there's another weekly
yeah.
happening, actually. Let's bring it back to that issue and the fact that it's it's very soon to be the last day to register to vote in your primaries for the state of Florida.
That's right, which
Register
is
to
coming
vote.
up at the end of this month.
Right.
28th, I believe?
That's right. It's August already.
Yes, we are in
I know.
August.
I said it. You didn't believe me.
I
Now
know.
I don't even believe myself.
Apparently it's August.
Bradley, is there a reason why we're wearing sunglasses?
None.
And that's the beautiful part about it.
Yeah. It's still, we're just enjoying the sunset.
You know, our sponsors, actually not really. We just thought it'd be kind of fun.
I was
Go ahead and just-
styled. There's
Yes.
like I tried on like 15 pairs. This is what we wound up with.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
I like them.
I haven't even
Well,
seen
That was
What
myself
was
all,
it?
pairs,
if you
so
were
it's a little
watching
weird.
on Instagram, that was the entire interim between the mango talk and when we started. Was just trying on sunglasses.
And it was mostly me trying on 15 pairs.
Yeah.
And by trying on, they just gave them, and I put them on. They said no, and then I wound up with these.
Yep.
So here we go.
Great.
But, you know, so-
I have these sunglasses. I may wind up buying them.
And now, who makes these shades?
It's a company called DeBlanc.
DeBlanc.
One of the brands under the Visla and Stokehouse
Okay. Are they made in
umbrella.
Italy? Because
I believe the frames might be made in Italy.
About
But,
90-something% of all the shades are made in Italy.
in Italy,
Yes.
and they're polarized.
Those might be
believe
colors I
they
can't
are.
tell. They might be.
Everything looks cooler.
Well, that's good. Let's do the report and forecast here.
Sure.
So the report has been waves. What the?
We had some waves
Last
yesterday.
2 days.
Yeah.
Last 2 days, we've had a little southeast wind swell. I mean, not enormous, but definitely enough to get wet.
Breaks up the whole doldrum that we've
Have
had for the last
fun.
one.
Yeah, so I was
yeah,
gonna say, put a smile on everyone's
Sure.
face, and everybody cheers up. Yay!
And I think that's what's so some of the fun parts about this surf shop, because we're right on the main break, is that when that happens, everyone's just genuinely excited that there's waves, and then genuinely excited that they stop by and they share that
Yeah,
excitement.
at the end,
Totally.
you get the
Right.
afterglow.
Yes.
Right. Everyone kind of hangs out. They crack some beers.
Yeah, on top
they
of
kind of
that,
have a
you
good
know?
time. They're just like, this was fun. This
On the
and that.
way in, it's all anxiety. How is it?
Right,
First, whacking it. Do you have any wax? Hold my keys. How is it? And then on the way back, it's just like, hey, that was fun.
It's awesome.
Right, you got your high five, you're like, how you been? All this other stuff becomes like a little
It's a whole other
center
on the way
area.
out.
Good
Yeah.
shit. Good shit.
So, do we have more of it?
Actually, yeah. For the rest of the work week, looks like
Southeast wind chop.
southeast wind chop. Bermuda High is doing its thing. Up coast, Space Coast, New Smyrna, getting fun size swell, continuing.
It's been like chest high in Melbourne, like consistently. And my father-in-law
Great
does not
trade
text
swell.
me or call me. This is a topic for me. So I'm like, it is chest high, and he's out there getting it. But like I got the kids. Like, text me and tell me to come up. I will come up. Like I won't make you sit on the beach that long and watch the kids. Like
Just like a 45-minute sesh. Hook me up.
God.
Pops.
that's it.
Just draw a little circle in the sand. Don't leave the
Yeah,
circle.
stay in
Bad things
here.
happen.
Yeah, it's not true. They're in the
But
water
actually,
the
it's like
entire
3
time.
boys, like worse things happen inside the circle.
Yeah.
It's true.
Take a moat.
Let
you
them
have to
outside the box.
three
Right.
moats.
So you have to
Don't
make like
keep
a
them in
really
there.
big circle to give them a
Three
lot of
different
space
circles.
otherwise.
Yep. True story.
Oh, boys.
So it looks like this will continue for the next couple days, just kind of trade, and then the Bermuda High kind of moves, and the wind will kind of cut off a little bit. So that's
Back
good
to
news in
Plus
terms
this.
of the possibility for tropical development, but bad news in terms of trade swell. So you're kind of like damned if you do, damned if you don't right now.
Right.
However, we're coming into the historical norm of the height of the hurricane season around September 1st-ish.
Right.
So another 30 days, and we're getting into the thick of it. Yes, Caleb.
So,
You had a question, Caleb.
What's the
You, up front.
forecast? What's the forecast for Monday for opening of regular lobster season?
Oh, there you go.
You're asking me
Here's
to
a good
go.
one.
Full
5
ocean? You want me to
days
Yeah,
out.
because
go
we get
into
waves
that?
until the end of the work week. Are we
Yeah,
gonna get
it's
perfect
probably-
Clarity.
conditions for
Clarity.
catching bugs
Yeah,
on Monday?
I mean, probably.
Why does the season start back up again
Yeah.
Monday?
Yeah.
I missed the
So if
mini
it goes
season.
flat-
Yeah.
Don't complain. Go catch bugs.
I'm probably
Yeah.
saying 5 to 10 out of the south on
Let's
Sunday,
see.
Monday. That you're
Let
looking
us
like.
go into it live here.
I mean,
we
that's
have
not bad. Yeah, that's good.
wow, an east-northeast wind on Monday.
Wait, whoa.
Is that high? No, that would be more of a low. Yeah. East winds on Sunday. East-northeast winds at 14.
Interesting.
What?
Yeah, on Monday, August 6th.
Oh.
August.
Well, you know
are
what? This is
looking
true
at that's
because
giving you wind?
My husband,
The Weather Channel.
he was going to come
Oh, God.
home.
I
He's
know.
in
Put the
Louisiana.
thing
I'm just saying.
Put it
just
away.
There's
to
weather
general,
over there, so
just
that's
saying
what that is.
weather.
It's
East
low.
northeast at 10 to 20.
It's
If
moving
you want to know
across.
about the Weather Channel, I'll tell you about the Weather Channel.
Oh, here we go again.
Here it goes.
This is like mangoes.
Because you're a meteorologist, too.
He likes mangoes.
I do like
And
he likes
mangoes.
weather.
I do like the Weather Channel.
Weather and mangoes. It could be
But
almost a new podcast.
he's a businessman, not a weather guy. Anyway, forecast.
Hey-o.
Forecast showing not very good in the way of trade swell. Maybe looking better in terms of tropical development.
Hi.
Sean Drake coming on the hizzy.
Oh, what's up?
Yeah, we're doing it. When we hold up the sign, applause and laugh, like everyone's got to jump in and kind of get going.
We're just joined here by Sean Drake. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yeah, come in and say hi.
Kind of
Hey.
tapping into the weather and the forecasting and what's going on. You just came out of the water. How was it?
It started dropping down a lot.
Yeah.
But it's low tide, right?
Yeah.
Sucking out.
Huh?
Sucking it out.
Tell the people of the world.
Shy.
I'm
Yes.
shy even if I'm not on the camera.
Don't be shy.
Anything?
Shy.
That's good. So, would you like your gift card?
I'll come back for it.
Gift
You
card.
sure? It's like right there. It's so close.
Yeah, no.
I
Okay.
could probably.
You could.
Glasses today? What's this?
Yeah.
you
No,
ask?
we just got
Did you
weird about it.
notice? That's
We just threw
awesome.
them on and we're like, oh my god, look how we thought it might bring out a little more honesty in us in our
Yeah.
conversation where you're like,
Yeah,
oh
so
look, I've got my invisible
You don't
cape
have to
on.
look. Yeah.
Right? No, none of those. There's no hallucinogens going on at the
Super
moment.
fun.
Although
Yeah.
that might be an interesting
Yeah,
podcast
it
if
would
we,
be.
if we
That
integrated
would
some of
be.
that.
That's probably a whole other.
Yes,
podcast.
you know that's when we'll go ahead and pull you in.
Yeah.
So good.
We're about to get to South Beach in the '90s. You want to stick around for that?
He was
Sean
here for it in the 90s.
Sean
He was
Drake.
like, was there.
Sean Drake.
I mean, we got a stool.
Bring it.
My buddy's waiting. He's got to go.
He's waiting.
All right,
There you go.
got people waiting, but
You know what? Can we get you on next time?
100%.
All right, one of these ones we'll do it. Yeah, Sean.
all right. Special
All right,
guest.
brother.
See ya.
Cheers.
Sean Drake. Out the house.
I mean, I feel like it's like a rapper's name, like Sean Drake.
It is a
like,
rapper's
oh,
name.
hell yeah,
It's fucking
man.
awesome.
Get in there.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh wait, I'm
for
not
him.
supposed to do that. Shit.
No, it's fine. Kids are asleep.
Sorry.
All right. South Beach in the '90s.
South
You want
Beach
to talk
in the-
about that? You
South
wanna just
Beach in
jump
the
right into
90s.
it?
Let's just get into it. You know, it was an interesting time around here. We're kind of sitting
was a
outside and talking
really
a little
fun
bit
time.
about just standing here and just where
Yeah.
we're at in the continuum and what
I got
it was.
like nothing on this one. Just so you guys know, I came here in '99 for the first time, and then 2000, 2004. So only stories.
When did you move here?
2000, 2004. Came back 2009.
So you were here from 2000 to 2004,
Yep.
left,
5
years.
came back in 2009.
Yep.
Why'd you leave?
Why'd you?
Duh.
I know this isn't about you, but
A girl. It's always a girl.
Always a
Always
girl.
a girl. I graduated school, and there was a girl up there, and I was just like, all right, I'm done down here. I should go back up there, and I did. Did 5 years, and then
I did 5 years. He was in a pen. and he
totally
came
did
back.
sound like that.
Sounded like
I mean, it was
that.
like
I did
full
not
relationship.
mean it
So
to sound like that.
I did
really-
my 5 years.
like that.
Okay,
I did my
bro,
5
that's why
years.
we're here.
I'm good. I did my 5 years.
And then
He's hardened.
they held intervention for me at the room, and they're like, "Why don't you live in South Beach?" And I was like, "I don't think." And
don't
they're like,
know.
"That's not a good answer." I was like, "You're right."
You
You're right. I'm
back.
hammered right now. It's hard to give an any kind of answer.
Yeah. And so next thing you know, I was here. 2 months later.
All right.
Okay.
So, well, I mean, in the 90s, South Beach was
In
kind of
the
fun,
90s.
and it was such a rise in the modeling world.
Yeah.
And that's kind of one of the things that we'll be tapping into right now.
Modeling
But
world and development of the city.
Overall, just it was fun. It was fun, and I feel like a lot of times, the
Fun.
Facebook
how? What
groups.
do you mean fun?
That it was
really
it was
fun.
just free
I know,
and
you
fun.
can
It
say-
was
Saying that
walk
part.
around barefoot, no broad bell
Well,
bottoms.
it was the kind of thing where like
That's
the
what
That's
that
like the
was.
'70s. What are you talking
No,
about?
but it
you know what? It
was.
probably was kind
It
of like what the
was.
70s was.
It
Like
was
in the
awesome.
sense where you had the models and the whole modeling
Walking around all
agencies
hot
and stuff
shit.
like that were blowing up around here
Carry their
because
books
it was
everywhere.
dirt cheap to be able to shoot pictures and the weather was great all
was
year
amazing.
round.
Yeah.
So it was easy for them
Germans
to be able to
love
send
it.
people over.
Yes.
And the beach was somewhat of a
Germans
sleepy
love
town
it.
before that.
And
They really
Hasselhoff.
did.
Those are my best.
Yeah,
Yeah,
David.
they're a good
He's
client.
so good.
Yeah.
And before that, it was just a sleepy town with a bunch of old people in the 80s.
It really
old people
was.
and just drugs or kind of hedonism. It was just like either one or the
And
other.
old people.
Yeah.
Drugs and old people.
Yeah, and that's kind of where it was at.
Sounds like a party. Can't believe I missed that.
So there wasn't much development. Things were just still raw and gritty.
Yeah.
And I think everyone really enjoyed it. So you had celebrities from David Lee Roth, Madonna, Prince,
Yeah.
and all these guys that like were here. They were here because there's so many also beautiful people. The modeling agency was going off.
And it was so incognito too.
Right,
Like everywhere you went,
right.
it was like, like an LA scene.
Right.
Like,
It was low key.
Yeah.
It wasn't as if there was paparazzi everywhere.
No.
It really was a place where beautiful
It
people
was
can get ugly.
really fun.
And
Oh, that's a good one. I don't know if I've heard that one.
I haven't coined that one. That one's been around for a little while. Wow. But
Sunny
it was the
place
kind
with
of thing where
shady
you would
people,
see
same kind of tone, yeah.
at Club Deuce or Bar
Ah,
Deuce.
nice.
The Deuce would be like, it's gritty, it's hardcore, but you would have some upper echelon of celebrity there.
Whatever, hanging
plus models, plus your homeless guy cruising by getting a free drink because of them. And
Totally.
everybody was high-fiving, hugging.
was just
There
good
was
times.
there was nothing. And I think,
I think the Deuce is still like that.
Yeah.
yes,
pretty much.
if any,
I don't know how it maintained, but
Right.
I'm pretty sure. Actually, I was there right after the hurricane. Like everything was closed, and I was like, "Deuce
the
is
Deuce
open."
is open.
Shut up, was it?
It was. I got cold beer.
That's fucking awesome.
That's all you
Wonderful.
need to survive a
Good
hurricane.
Deuce.
It's cold beer. I mean, that's how I survived after the
Or
hurricane.
wa-
Cutting down trees was cold beer. It's the only thing that survived.
Warm rum.
There's nothing like cold beer after working real hard.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. So the 90s kind of brought in this whole era. And, I mean, when did you come down to Miami Beach?
You were here the whole time, though, Chris,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
Yes, yes,
you
yes.
grew up here.
Yeah, I grew up on 71st Street, and I got the benefit of growing up surfing all over the north side and South Beach on the south side. And we had I had a close friend of mine, Jerry Burdine, that you happened to date for a
Yep.
little while. And from what I understand, taught you how to surf.
He sure did.
And kind of it was interesting. It was
a great
real
time.
gritty. I always still relate, and at least my experience from that limited point, as well as understanding what things were like before that, to what Venice, California was like in
Right.
regards to like just like
Just
Dogtown
smaller,
gritty.
Like a little smaller.
Right,
of it,
smaller
yeah.
version, but it was like
When
gritty.
did
It
we
was
do a documentary
hardcore.
about that?
I
That'd be
don't.
such a
I could
cool
almost see a play
be.
happening that is like full,
play?
like a full play where it's like full, like a combination like West Side Story with the Warriors that has like the
Keep
bass
going.
and like the whole background of the play is like a
catching all
pier.
this, right, Caleb?
There's like
That's
the pier
right, right,
and
right.
and just like the parking lot and like the dog
Nobody
track.
steal
this
And like
idea.
everything
The
is kind of
pier.
revolved around that with snow cones and the surf shop that was across the street. Like,
Pizza.
see, apparently someone else agrees. The spirits that be of South Beach somehow or another agrees.
Well, when did Exile come into play? Exile started in like
The early
Cheryl.
90s. Like, I feel like it was like 93, 92, 93, 92, and they kind of lasted all the way straight through, I think, almost to the end of 2000. Montero,
They were
we
here
have our
through the
local
2000s.
surf historian in here. You remember when Exile
Started.
started and ended?
when she first got there.
She was on Washington Avenue.
Right, and
Yeah,
she
right
was
there
up
in
by,
Fifth.
on the 10th Street first originally.
Oh, was she
close
on
to the
10th?
police station.
Oh
There's a baby
shit.
there.
Right,
Montero.
right,
Oh.
exactly.
I'll be right back. I gotta go see my friend. He's in here.
Okay.
All right, enjoy.
All right.
So
Tell me some
tell,
hi.
tell Fidel I said hello.
Hey.
Send him a fax for me.
But yeah,
another good
man, freaking 90s.
phone 'em.
Yeah, you missed some good times because it was like, I think the peak of just all of just that last, like, good, like, free spirited, but like, but Miami, like, kind of like, it was
Right,
just
it was
a-
like shady
yeah, but
and
it wasn't,
gritty,
but,
but glamorous
yes,
also.
Well, I
it
think
was
that's the thing.
this
It was
crazy
like
time.
it was cheap, but there was still enough money flowing through it that like it was easy and cheap
Yeah.
and fun.
So it just made it safe.
Yeah,
You're
so
like,
it's like-
it's okay. I'll take that cab to, or it's Overtown. Is that where I'm going?
Fine,
For that,
it's
and
fine.
you're gonna be in an RV on 50. Okay, I'll be there. All right,
How old were you when you moved down here?
I was 15.
15.
Yeah,
And this was
95.
95.
Yeah.
And you moved down from
Oh, South Carolina.
South
Yeah.
Kakalaki.
Well, yeah, I was born in North Carolina, but I lived in South Carolina. But I went to New York first, and I was up there, and then they pushed me down here for season.
Right.
And then when I got here, I just got locked in.
Season being that
Season
You
for
don't
what?
know.
What do you mean?
You
Amy-
travel
Amy-
with your
Amy-
agency through
is
seasons.
a model.
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
And
We
so
skipped the
she,
whole- we
I know.
skipped the
So
whole-
I'm
skipped the
bringing
whole
it
bunch.
back. I'm
Okay,
bringing it back.
bring
So
it in.
grew up in North Carolina.
If you haven't seen episode 16, you may have gotten some of this, but
Right, and that's kind of why we're showcasing this a little bit more, because we did them an injustice in having. I mean, all three was fun, but we
Yeah.
never got to really
really
kind of
story by
highlight
story.
each
Thank
story.
you.
And there's so
I-
much
I
great
thought
stories
it
in
was
it.
A great time. Caleb, you're awesome. That's awesome.
So, when did you move from North Carolina to South Carolina? When did the modeling start to happen? Why did modeling start to happen? How?
Oh, man, geez. Well, I got scouted And it was really funny because it was glamour shots that I did with my mom. I'd literally just gotten out of like juvenile detention. And I'm
So
like,
we had a rough childhood.
we're going to go to the mall. My mom, like, she's trying to rekindle whatever. And, you know, she's like, well, why don't we get some pictures together, you know? And I went in there and I took pictures with my mom, got all dolled up. And they had this model search thing happening. I didn't know about it. But my mom, the photographer, the photographer's like, your daughter's beautiful. We're doing a contest. You should put her in it. And she did. And I didn't know, you know, like I was fresh.
Right.
I was like on my way outside to go smoke another cigarette. You
At
know,
14.
like, so we did that. Next thing I know, like, my mom calls, like, she tells me, like, I've won this thing. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, and you get to go to, like, Millie Lewis, which is this modeling school. So I went there for, like, a few weeks.
What's
and
a
then
modeling school?
And what do they
it's
teach
like
you?
a prep school for, you know,
Right.
trying to be pretty and know how to, like, tweeze your eyebrows and
What?
walk
Really?
straight.
Right, do they do the books on the head kind of thing and everything?
They do the whole thing.
That's the
like,
only thing I could
whatever.
imagine. I was
So
like, didn't
straight
want
out
to
of
seem naive.
juvie
I
to,
was
like-
I was thinking just books on the head. I didn't
King
even
of
think about
naive.
tweezing eyebrows. I was like,
Yeah, well, you don't have to wax your vagina either.
that's right, I don't.
Unless you do,
Well-
I don't know.
I mean, were they doing that at 15? God, it's
Yeah,
so
I'm
weird.
just
I've
ripping
got
that
a
shit
daughter,
out.
and this is stuff that I
Yeah.
have to think about later
Oh,
in life.
even
Jesus
earlier.
Christ.
It's okay. It
Oh,
comes
it's
with
so
time. You'll build up to it.
ruining me right now.
But yeah,
You
no, I
got
got,
just like three.
All right, so
I
what
got
else happened
scouted
there other than
from
us being
there.
freaked out?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, so that happened. You won the contest.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you went to the
I went
school.
to New York, and I was
that-
with Next. Next was my first agency, and they put me up in New York for the season, and I did a lot
The
of
season,
stuff.
what does that mean?
Was this scary?
For winter, yeah. Was it
it-
scary?
I mean, like
You
at
lived in
that
New
point, I
York
mean,
for
like,
the winter, and you were like 15?
Right, yeah. I went up there and I stayed in the model's apartment, which was really cool, you know, and then
That's intense.
yeah, with a bunch
you-
of other chicks that were just on the subway going
Right,
to castings,
right.
shooting, and I did my first cover in New York. Yeah,
No way.
Don Vista Beachbody. It was a German cover for this
these Germans.
this magazine. I can't remember the name of it. Oh God, it was awesome. And I'm like in my bikini, like.
Were you making good coin?
Well, at that point, no, because see, the agencies would like get you in and like they siphon your money. You know, like you go, you get your jobs, but they're running the books.
Right.
You only get paid, so we
Right,
we got to
because it's cost of living, and
because
you're
we
what
gotta
you
pay
eat.
for this, and
Right.
then when you
And that hotel room you destroyed.
Yeah,
and,
so it's like
well, you destroy you.
just making
Rock
it
and roll.
rain.
Yeah.
It's not
For them.
Spinal Tap.
But I was getting good tears, and that's how it all works in the modeling industry. So you just keep going.
So that's kind of I think that's a weird thing about modeling, though, right? Because they kind of like suck you into that system. And
Yeah,
then,
because you're
then what
so
happens?
young too. They like bring you in when you're like super young and whatever, and that's just the way that it goes. It's the truth. Like
Yeah.
I'm just speaking the truth. That's the way it works. And 25. Like whatever. It depends. My girlfriend Marty. You know Marty. She stayed in it
do.
longer than I did. She
Right.
was like she was 30 something before she.
I
quit.
mean, nowadays it seems like there's
Yeah.
plenty of models that are still able to kind of go into their 30s
Sure.
and whatnot. and-
Yeah, it was a whole different scene though.
Right.
Whole different scene.
Right.
I can't
All right,
even
so now
explain
you're
it.
New York, and
And then from there,
Oh well, but this was the hub. You just went everywhere
Miami.
from here.
Miami
yeah.
was the hub.
Yeah.
back then, 90s.
Who's that guy? Because he's
Yeah,
handsome.
El Luchador, ladies and gentlemen, look who we have here.
Are we gonna
come
arm
post
wrestle?
up here. He doesn't say much, but when he says things, it's impactful. I've got a vote of approval on that side. I don't know where that came from. But so, are we?
I met this
are we-
guy when I was like 16. I would say, right?
when he first got here.
16, yeah.
All right.
Luchador?
Yep. met
I
him.
mean, and this is an OG rat right here that
Yup.
was like really seeing that whole development from
the
Section 8,
little rats.
from the Section 8 area to where it's finally become to right now. It's, I mean,
Posh.
there is maybe 2 people that I can think of locally that are still around here between you and Vago,
Vago.
that really kind of have still been here since that point.
It's pretty
I
rad.
mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Did you enjoy the?
He's nodding with approval. If you guys
Yes,
can't see him, there's
right.
a man with a luchador mask. Shall not be named.
Shall not be named. And but during those times, as far as the modeling, did you have fun in those moments?
Shit, yeah, he had fun. We all had fun.
He's
just
signing
fun,
that
fun,
he's,
fun.
I think, enjoying that.
So you made it down to Miami. And you came down. How old were you? You were 14, 15?
15, yeah.
Luchador out.
Well, and I hung out until I was about 21, whatever. Went to Melbourne for a minute, but it was like back and forth.
Right.
Every day I would
Right.
get in my fucking car
Here,
and drive back
up
for
north.
castings when I was living. It was a shit
wow.
show. Yeah.
Right.
But I was surfing all the time.
Right.
So, yeah.
Definitely more waves there.
But you learned to surf down here in
I
Miami?
did. I
In
learned
Miami. Learned to surf Miami.
Yeah. I was 17. Maybe 16. No, 17 when I stood up. Yeah.
Because your boyfriend at the time was a surfer, and
Yep.
he was a local
Jerry Rodine.
hotshot.
Yep.
He was a local hotshot here. I remember I grew up with
He
Jerry.
still is.
And he really is, and his son now fucking kills
He's
it.
awesome.
Makai
Makai.
is just killing it, riding for Volcom, out in Hawaii, living the life.
I'm really stoked
He's
for
got a
him.
great coach in his dad.
Yep.
Jerry's just, and the whole family is just living such
It's
a
just
great life
awesome.
out there in Hawaii. I'm
Yep.
so stoked for them. It's really
Ditto.
It's really awesome to watch that whole development
Yep.
happen. So you kind of got into that. You got into surfing here. Did that affect your modeling? Were
Oh, yeah.
modeling agencies were like, no, we don't want you to do
Yeah,
that?
they kind
or-
of did because, back in the day, it's like the whole look was happening. Like the Kate Moss thing went down, like all that, whatever. So, yeah, I went
So
from
wait,
like
elaborate on that. Because,
lanky, skinny, right?
Right, the
like,
heroin chic.
Just totally heroin
Yeah.
chic.
Just because I don't think everyone knows what you're talking about.
then
here.
you're like surfing and you're doing it more and more, so your body starts to adapt to what you're doing.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know?
so you're being athletic.
I started to
not just like
More of an
laying on the
athletic.
couch in the dark.
athletic, right, body, and they were kind of like, and it changed that platform to where, and especially back then, because surfing wasn't, surfing came into fashion later.
Right.
So
because most of the surfers there weren't necessarily models. Where like I feel like you could look
No,
at any
yeah.
of the surfers now surfing, and you're like, you're hot. You could be
they're-
a model completely.
Yeah.
And back then, a little different.
Well,
Not-
because it was just women surfing,
Right.
and there wasn't a spotlight, and they kind of always made it. I don't know. It's a whole different platform. As soon as it became a fashion, it was like the whole opposite of everything, and it just turned into this whole.
Did that benefit you or not?
Well, yeah, sure, it benefited me in a lot of ways because number one, it kept me like grounded, which I was very, I've been through a lot of stuff in my
Right.
life, but I kept it. I think because of surfing, it really like kept me like
Toughened you up?
Yeah, and the funny
'Cause I
thing
feel like
is,
you were
like,
tough growing up as a kid. 'Cause I'm
Right.
sure whatever childhood you had seemed like it kind of formed into some sort of toughness in you.
Totally.
And as you grew up through that process, surfing kind of allow you to handle modeling?
Well, yeah, because everybody knows how it is when you're in the water and you're surfing, and it's like you can just clarify. You know what I mean? And you're just everything's good, and then you actually are surfing, and when that moment is happening, it's like that part of you is just you're good, you're solid, and I think it just clears everything out. I think it's just the ocean and just everything. But not to get all weird and hippie and trippy and shit.
It's hug a tree.
Yeah.
It's really hard to talk about surfing sometimes without
Yeah.
going down that
Without
path. You're
getting
like,
there.
listen,
'Cause
I'm
it's
really
so
sorry. I
euphoric.
don't
It's so
mean-
true.
I don't
It
mean
really
to, like,
is.
But
get
why do
down
we
this path.
apologize about that? Like, why?
Because it's
Are
really
we
hard for
apologizing?
other people that don't have
Okay,
opportunities
enough
to do
already.
that.
Surfing's awesome.
Yeah,
No,
they're like,
I'm
"Alright,
just saying. I'm
great,
just
okay."
saying, like when we go granola or when we go, into like the whole like love of surfing and this and that, and like it becomes a little hokey, I guess, and cheesy. Is that what we're
it's awesome.
apologizing
Well,
for?
yeah, well, sort of, because it's very hard for other people, I think, to relate to that. Like, there's very few sports
Well, it's
or
like-
practices that people can understand it to the level.
Except for
No.
skaters.
Where there's
you
like a
know,
spirituality and there's a physical that
Or
kind
like
of blends into
I
each
feel like
other.
fishing, spearfishing.
Yeah, just
people
being one with the ocean.
It's a lot of the things that are like outdoors or like skiing, snowboarding, especially backcountry stuff.
Yeah. Right.
Like those people really are into it in a
Yeah.
way you're like, okay.
Right.
Like you put in the hard yards.
Right.
To,
Yeah.
There's a
Right.
spiritualness going into
Yeah.
the physical
And so
approach
you
of the
like
sport.
understand how much just sitting on the beach, even though the waves are shit, you're like,
Right.
I came.
Yeah.
Maybe I paddled out and called like a crappy one, but like I got a crappy one. It's better than no one.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
right,
or
and
like,
that's surfing.
right.
or like in a snowboard
There's that tree
situation,
hugging
it's
moment.
like, it's like, oh
my
god, I was
God.
hoping the snow would come, but
Snowboarding.
it didn't come.
I would break
so,
my back right now.
I
Jesus
caught like
God.
one crappy rundown slush, and
I've never really snowboarded.
oh man,
Dude, you
Ever.
would eat shit
I know,
so
like
hard.
like the
I
only
swear
one
to
and only
God.
time I
This
did was like the
winter?
Poconos
This
in
winter.
Pennsylvania,
You get so
and it was
fucked
they were
up.
pumping in the snow,
winter. Let's get a
and it was
house.
mostly ice, and I was wearing
whole thing.
jeans and a
That's
sweatshirt, so like I got
Hold down a whole
soaked.
month.
My knees
Oh, wait,
got
that's
stuck
slow
in the
season.
ice. It was horrible.
Yeah.
I was like,
Slow
this
season.
thing's
I can't
dumb. Why do people want to do? And then I hear about like, oh, powder and
Struggle's
base
real.
and this and that, 58 inches, and
yeah.
like I needed a snorkel, and
58 inches.
I'm like, oh, so there's a fun part of snowboarding.
Oh yeah, bro.
It's hardcore.
It gets real Western.
It gets real.
Well,
Definitely.
that's a
Hey,
term that you may not be familiar with.
Throw a cowboy hat on me and call
There
me
you go.
Pony Boy. Let's do this.
Rodeo.
But don't call me Pony
Yeah.
Boy. That's
So
Yes. All right.
topic.
So I mean, all right. So we're going
Whatever.
through the sequential order
So
and
you-
stuff
yeah,
like that. And there was a
you got
modeling
here-
and surfing.
You started surfing, and then
Yeah, my career
But
changed.
But it opened up
was a big-
opportunities
yeah,
for you,
yeah.
right? Because you were in Playboy for a hot second.
Well, that was a few years later. Like I did a thing in Ocean Drive, and
That's right, Ocean Drive
they
magazine.
contacted my agency, and they were like, "We want to do a pictorial on her." Like
Because what they were showcasing in Ocean Drive at the time was
surfing. Model just.
they were doing something on locals, right? They were doing
well, Ocean Drive does the people that make Miami, people in South Beach, that
Right.
that whole run of
Right.
Ocean Drive
right.
back in the
And so
day.
they showcased her, model, surfer girl,
Right.
cute, all this other stuff.
So basically, they saw me and they were like, "We want her." And it took a couple months to negotiate, so I would finally do it, and I did it.
I mean, aside, I guess, maybe negotiating money and stuff like that, but the actual act, the actual fact that they were asking you to do that, did that scare you?
No.
Was that where you were just like, shit, I'll just do that. It's fine.
It didn't scare me, but it was that's a different turn in your career. You know what I mean? Like once it's like
Right.
know.
What-
and I
were you scared
I went
about
to my
that part, where you're like, what do I
sponsors, and I
do?
asked everyone, and everyone supported me and backed me, and it was pretty awesome because
Had that come up before,
They
ever?
tried to do that, like Wendy Botha. She tried to do that, and
Right,
shit
right.
went wrong for her. So this was like the turn, and then it just kind of after that it was like surfing was already a fashion. It was
Right.
becoming fashionable.
Right.
was that even like
So-
a thing to bring up prior to that one email or phone call that comes through? It's like, oh yeah, by the way, we saw this thing and we wanted you to be in Playboy. Where they're like, what the what? I don't even know how to deal with
I don't even
this.
think
And,
we-
and it goes to show you with the Wendy Botha situation
page,
and where
a
she
fax.
did it, even just a
the
couple
difference.
years
Yeah.
will change the mentality and where it's going. And a lot of it had to do with maybe where surfing was going, becoming more of
it was a fashion. Yeah.
kind of
it
thing.
did that
than-
turn, back from the
wasn't about
60s and-
subculture anymore.
Yeah.
It was about culture and fashion.
Yeah.
And
So
industry.
Which was
so
great
all your
for me.
sponsors that were like, yeah, cool.
Who were you
Well,
sponsored
Body
with at
Glove
the time?
was my main sponsor. Yeah, and Scott Daly, he's awesome. And he was like, shit, yeah, we back you 100%, all of us. Do it,
Right.
And so I did it, and I tried to get everyone in that I could, all my sponsors.
Right.
And they were really, it was great. I don't regret it at all. And Hugh Hefner was awesome. It was really cool to hang
Hef.
out with him and watch a movie in his theater with everybody else.
That's
and
how it goes?
I was just feeding his monkeys in his yard and stuff. It was awesome.
What?
They were
you
actually
know?
monkeys.
Wait.
There's monkeys, peacocks.
The way I figured this
you
guy
name
is
it,
like,
he had
just
it.
do
take
this-
pictures,
yeah,
this and
take
that,
pictures.
and you're just
that
like-
guy. He was that guy, and I went there on a
but-
Sunday, so it was movie night there at the mansion on Sundays. So everybody
This
was
is after
there.
the shoot and everything?
Yeah. Well, actually,
wait,
I was in
how does
LA
it- how does
So I
it-
shooting
think once you
it. I was
become part of the
actually
shoot,
out
I
there
think once you
shooting
shoot,
it.
you're
And
kind of
he-
part of the crew.
I
He
didn't even
actually
know
wanted
how
me to
curious
stay
I
there,
was about
but
this.
they were like, "You can stay at a hotel or you can stay at the mansion." And I'm like, "I don't know if I'm responsible enough to stay at the mansion and mature. I think I'll get the hotel. Thanks. Yeah." But so I was invited to go there, and I hung out, and it was awesome. And I met Hugh and everyone, and it was just it was pretty freaking rad.
That's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it was
And
pretty
then after you
badass.
did the shoot and,
what
after it was
happens in the
released or
grotto
whatever?
stays in the grotto.
Apparently, that's still the case.
Yeah.
Or I mean, I don't know if that's still
Rest
the
in
case.
peace, Hugh.
Yeah, Hugh.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you, Hugh.
So, did you see leaps and bounds from that point forward? Did your career
Sure.
all
Then
of a
my
sudden
phone
just
was
skyrocket,
off
blow
the
up,
hook,
this and that?
and
look at this
everyone's
beautiful
like,
surfer
"Hey, we
girl.
want to sponsor
got a
you."
sponsor.
And I'm like,
Right.
sure.
So
awesome.
who was the next sponsor? I mean, did you keep
Holcomb.
Body Glove at that point, and then you just pulled up?
Body Glove was with me, ride or die. Yeah, for
Right.
sure.
And that was like your wetsuit
Yeah.
company.
Well, just everything. They
Right,
were starting their marketing for their
Well, because I know
clothing
that
line.
as you move on to other companies and
Swimsuits,
stuff, you have to be a
yeah.
little bit more specific and
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah.
So, all right, well, I'm going to ride these guys. These are my eyewear company.
It's,
This is my
yeah.
wetsuit company. This is my clothing company.
And it
So
was
this
a
is
whole
like my
different industry
eyewear
back
company
then.
right now. This
Whole
is
different
this is
industry.
my mug company.
Thank you,
I'm
Surfing.
looking for other sponsors.
Microphone?
Me too.
I'd like
I'm
a
looking for
microphone. We'd
sponsors.
like a Mike
Sure.
sponsor.
Hit us
Anyone
up.
wants to
Microphone
sponsor
sponsor
a
us.
retired model and who makes jewelry, let me know.
Yeah.
Because I'm open.
We need one of those
I'm
sponsors.
making my comeback.
Well, I believe it.
Comeback
I,
sponsors, we're looking for those.
That's right.
I believe Amy's still got a little something to give to
Some
the
fire in
industry.
the tank.
Bring it back. Bring it all the way around. I mean,
Sorry, Caleb. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
You're good.
so all of a sudden
Here comes
your next
the pop.
sponsor then was Volcom.
Right. Yep. And then from there is like DC shoes, electric.
Was your surfing progressing
Velvet.
at that
And
point
here's
as
something
well?
that like, yeah, my surfing obviously like the more you surf, the better you get. I remember I was sponsored by
rule.
Funny how
Velvet
that
Velvet
happens.
Doesn't happen
Eyewear.
around
It
here.
was a pretty whatever. And I remember the
Velvet.
I remember
Velvet
that.
Eyewear. And I remember, you know, I was like getting stuff from them and they were like, you know, I was putting their stickers on my board. And then I think I like did I don't know. I don't remember how. I think they were before Playboy. And I remember talking to the rep, not the rep, but the marketing director. And she's like, yeah, so we just like sponsor athletes, not really just like, you know, and she kind of like was trying to throw me on the bus.
A little
like,
condescending.
you know, like, you know, you're
you
not an
chicks so
athlete.
catty
And you know,
sometimes?
it
Seriously.
sucks because like no one ever, it's like, you know, just because
support,
I
like-
was modeling before I started surfing and like I had that going, like people got the wrong idea. Like, you know, I didn't try.
Right.
Everything happened because it happened.
Just fell into place.
You know what I
You're
mean?
like,
So
I'm not a surfer,
I
damn it.
didn't-
I'm a model.
I didn't put my shit out there like
They're
that. It just
yeah,
happened.
but you surf,
you know?
so... And the other ones are like,
Yeah.
but you're a surfer and you model, so...
Meanwhile, the screenwriter for Zoolander was like, "This is gonna make a great movie."
Great, awesome,
Seriously.
epic.
It's a whole
screenplay.
slashy thing?
Yeah. Anyways,
Model / surfer?
and then I was with Electric for a long time. He was awesome. Mike Carter. I'm sorry, Mark. It's the vodka. I said Mark instead of Mike.
Mike Carter.
Mike Carter. You guys remember Mike Carter? He's rad.
I think I feel like maybe
You
I do. I
do.
probably do.
And EG from Sector 9. Love EG. He's the best.
So you had Sector
long
9,
time.
you had electric eyewear. So you had your skateboard, you had
Yep.
your eyewear, you had
DC
Volcom as far
shoes.
as clothing,
Yep.
DC
Blair
shoes,
Marlin.
you
Yep.
had body glove.
Yep.
Kind of had the run of the
What? Are
gamut.
you
Who was
serious?
running your
That was your
surfboards? Who was
list of
making your
sponsors?
surfboards?
Oh, Ricky Carroll.
Ricky Carroll.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here. I
love
want
Ricky.
those sponsors.
Yeah.
I'll wear all that
RC.
bikini.
Then he had me on some hot
Brad
butters.
Playboy doesn't
just,
want you.
Just for Ricky Carroll as a sponsor.
Ricky
Carroll's
Carroll's
a great chick.
awesome.
That's an yeah. East
Awesome.
Coast killer.
Kills it. So how long did that last?
That was like, well, I moved back to Florida in 2006. And basically 2006, I actually came back. I shot like a banana boat commercial, which was awesome. And then I met my husband. So
MJ Sizemore, who was a local here growing
Yes.
up as well. His parents were locals here that grew
Yes.
up way back in the day.
back in the day,
And shreds.
totally
Quite
an
the good-looking
amazing
chap.
Yeah.
Kind of
It's
for
like a
me, almost remind me of
crossbreed.
like of Andy Irons a little
Or
bit.
like a-
I
kinda
saw
has
some
like
really good stuff from that in March.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he's always been a quiet guy because I remember when he kind of came on, it was like, who the is this kid that's
this
like
guy?
shredding, but like super quiet about it and stuff like that. And I remember the first time I got to understand him, which I was mentioning to you before, was at Hollover, and he had an incident with one of our locals up there, Ron Kendall, and and it was like two shredders, and it was like, ooh, what's gonna happen?
Oh.
As
shredders,
one
one
cuts off the
wave.
other,
Oof.
and Ron Kendall had seniority, and he's
Totally.
like. Nah, nah,
Where's
nah,
Joe
nah.
Ron? Sound effects.
But I feel like that's kind of what started their
Yeah,
friendship
it
from
did.
past that
It blossomed
because
from that.
MJ wasn't like really arrogant and about things
No, he's
like
not.
that.
He's
He was
just
like
very to himself.
Right, to himself. He's like, I
He's-
just surf and I feel it, and he shreds.
Yeah.
And some people would go ahead and take his quietness as being a dick, but he's just quiet.
He's just quiet.
He's just quiet,
Yeah.
and I always respected that, and I thought that was killer.
Yeah.
But he's such a good surfer, natural
quiet
talent.
ones you have to watch
and
out
that-
for.
And that right.
Yeah.
And that's your husband.
Yeah, it is.
So, what year did you meet your husband?
Oh God, 2006.
2006.
Yeah. It's been 12 years.
Congrats. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
We've been
We've
married
come
for 10.
way out of South Beach in the 90s. I think we got to go
Jesus.
into the next one.
Yeah,
Yes,
let's go.
absolutely.
Let's go.
Nature versus nurture
Nature versus nurture.
And surfing.
in surfing.
Well, I mean, obviously in this conversation, we've seen that surfing has changed
Yeah.
a little bit of dynamic in your life in a direction.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And we've seen it like I know that we've had an old school local here for a little while, Maui Good Beer, that had this Street Waves program where he was taking a lot of inner city youth.
Now he's still here. I haven't
That's
seen him
No,
awesome.
in
he's
forever.
not. He's moved up. I think he's either north or he's in Texas, I believe now. I got to double check.
Either north or
Yeah,
Texas. That's a big
Right, I know.
fucking
I can't.
difference.
I'm horrible
He's
for not knowing
not
exactly
here.
that. But he's
that's
not. He's not
awesome.
locally as much. I mean, but, you know, and a lot of it stemmed from the fact that his younger brother had kind of got run up into things in regards to
Right.
just like inner city stuff,
Caught up.
and
Yeah.
died from it. And
Oh,
so
that's
he wanted to
terrible.
do something that was gonna impact a lot of the inner city and give him an out that he felt like that benefited him in such a great way. And surfing. And so he would
That's
donate
really
his
awesome.
time and he would get money and
rad.
he would get boards to be able to do that.
And
he
a
was
van
bringing
to
all the
sell
inner
to
city
those
kids
kids.
out, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And doing stuff. And that is a great example of your nurturing versus your nature being able to hopefully send you into a different direction that
Totally.
surfing does so much of.
Yep.
You know, next week I'm doing an autistic surf camp and stuff like that, and it's also a beautiful thing to watch a lot of these autistic kids
Share the
gravitate to
stoke.
surfing,
Yeah.
get that stoke, and all of a sudden, what that does for them in their confidence, what that does for them in their being a little
it's
bit more open.
life-changing.
Right,
Yeah.
it is, and
It's such a weird connecting thing.
Right,
It really
and
is.
it's that nature. It's that connecting with the ocean. It's the ability to walk on water.
It really
that,
is.
That you stand up, and even when I teach people for the first time, like I get stoked. Like
Yeah.
I'm surfing for the first time. When you see that excitement, where you're just like, dude, these
my
guys are so
God.
amped. You're like, ooh, how is that? You're so
I saw a little
awesome.
kid actually getting his like first wave for sure. He's like a tiny little kid, and I'm like, oh man, that's so awesome. That was better than any wave I could have
Yeah.
caught today.
It
for
really
sure.
is, and
awesome.
and that is that feeling that you get to pass on. I
Yep.
feel like that it's not necessarily a responsibility of ours, but it should be in a sense. Like if it meant so much
But
to
it
you, why
is.
do you not share that with other people to maybe see if it means something to them?
Yeah.
You know, and again, going back to growing up and where you came from and
Yeah.
where you got to go and what surfing did for you in your world. Surfing has so many benefits, but I mean, does it on the opposite side? Does it have negatives? I mean, can you
Oh,
be
I got-
so much about surfing and all of a sudden like it just takes over your
Yeah.
life and nothing
I
else
got you.
matters but
All right, so a good friend of mine, my dad's longtime partner, he started a little brand after like the business was over and they all retired. He started a brand in California called Surfing Ruined My Life. And I was like, that's so funny. And I was like,
awesome.
and kind of sad. I was like, what is
I
exactly
can
does he
relate
mean
to
by-
this in a lot of ways.
I thought it was
Really
like the
Sorry,
best
Caleb.
idea ever, and then I thought it was the worst idea ever at the same time. And I was like, how did it ruin your life? Really? Like going to the ocean, like all this stuff. Maybe do you feel like you devoted too much of your time to it? Do you think like yeah, of
You're a
course.
fucking life one.
I mean,
Boyle.
okay, well, does
But like,
that
you-
exception?
But
does
then you
that-
have to be okay with it.
Is that
That's the whole-
obsession
that's the whole
worse
part.
in other places than that? Because I will say, growing up here and being surf starved for a good portion, like your life revolved around when the surf was happening, this and that, this and that. But when I moved to places like to Hawaii, like all of a sudden it took me a little bit to kind of transition because I was like, surf all the time. But then all of a sudden
Less
you're like,
stressful?
oh,
Like,
yeah,
I don't
right,
have to
because you're like,
stress it.
I could just work and I could just do this,
Yeah.
and then you know
How
what?
long did
I've
that
got
take?
time on this, and I've got time on this, and I will just surf, and it becomes part of your life.
How
'cause it's
long
like
was
jet
that?
lag because I know
Right.
my friends.
It was
I have tons of friends
easily
that
like
have
6 to
moved-
8
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
and I only lived there for like a year and change,
Right,
so it was
so
maybe the
everybody
last,
I know
the
does
back
that.
end 4 to 6 months.
You get an East guy to go to the islands.
Right.
They're like surf star versus their entire life, literally their entire life, and they're like, here's a bunch of filet mignon. Don't eat too much, and they're just like, just like
Put on
"Yeah,
20
you-
pounds in the
you're
first
like, you're gonna die from eating it. I don't even care. I've never seen this much of it in my life. And then you're like,
It's
wait,
true.
this
It's
is
true
just
because
doesn't
It's true.
stop.
it was funny because
The
all the
beef will never
Hawaiians
stop.
would surf like
The
fully
beef
early in the
will
morning
never
till like
stop.
9 a.m. or just before dark, and I'm hitting it at 10 to like 2,
Yeah.
10 a.m. to like
yeah.
2 p.m. They're like, it's so hot, you're getting scorched. I'm like, there's nobody out.
There's no one
When I
on.
went over there, I was staying at this
Totally.
hotel, and the guy was like,
So
you guys going surfing? Eba, too cold. It was like
cold.
68 degrees at 7 a.m. It got to like 76, and I
Right.
was like, dude, are you serious? I was like, the waves are pumping.
going
Eba,
out.
too cold.
Yeah.
You got a wetsuit? I was like, no.
Spring Supra. Spring.
Come on.
So, I mean, does surfing at that point, if it's taken over your life, does it ruin relationships? Does it?
It can.
Does it ruin life to an
Jesus.
extent?
Well, just like anything.
It just
you gotta like
depends,
have everything
yeah.
in
Moderation.
check.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not even moderation. You got to know what you like and do what you like a lot.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
and everyone
true.
around you has to be kind of for that, and you have to be, I guess, like
yeah, but that's kind of
try to
selfish.
foster that.
You gotta like work it, you know, like
Right, and-
it's gotta
and, I
be
mean, and-
equal
and- and-
parts,
and-
and you could balance. It's good.
Right, and here's an interesting fact with you.
Yeah.
In that sense, is that your husband surfs.
Oh, yeah.
And he loves it.
That's
And you do too.
That's it. Yeah.
And you guys
Well,
live in an area in Fort Pierce where there is surf relatively consistent.
How
Yeah.
are the kiddos?
How do you guys manage that? Like without having any sort of like grudge against each other? Because I know I dated somebody that
We've
surfed as
been
well,
there,
and
we've done
that's
that.
tough. Where you're
Yeah.
just like, oh, you're gonna go surf?
Yeah.
And you're
well,
like, oh,
like I said in the
do I
last
feel guilty?
episodes, after you have like kids and you're like lactating on the beach and he's getting barreled and you're like, this kid's sucking the life out of me and you're getting barreled. You know, like it
That
can
wasn't
put
a
a
great
little
quote
strain
from
on the
last episode.
relationship, but you
I
work
remember
your
that
way
one.
through it and you know, it's balanced. You just gotta
Right.
whatever. And I don't get to surf that often anymore. I really don't, but I'm okay with that.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
'cause I know
you
my
appreciate
time.
the moments that you have.
Yeah.
You don't
Yes.
get to lactate that much.
Yeah.
No, or surf apparently.
Yeah.
I might lactate more than I surf, but you know that's a personal thing.
Wow. That's
I mean,
deep.
these glasses, these things are
That's
awesome.
deep.
That's interesting. But you know,
It is what it is. Everybody knows what it is. If you surf and you got a chick, you know, and if your chick surfs or like she doesn't, you know, everybody knows. Everybody knows. It's just one of those things.
You
It's
dated
like
someone that
maxi
surfed?
pads and tampons.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
you don't need commercials.
I've been through this. I mean,
You know, everybody
we
needs
covered
them.
this on a couple of episodes before. Yeah.
did you like it? Would you prefer to date somebody that does surf or doesn't
Yeah,
surf,
yeah, yeah.
or you're indifferent?
What's
it is
your
what it is
personal-
when it comes
you
to
don't-
it.
I'm kind of
You
in.
want that girl to not surf.
I'm kind of indifferent. I see pros and cons from both sides. I think most guys are really shitty and dumb about how they handle surfing with girls that don't surf. Like, you guys
Right.
don't understand that they're girls that don't surf, dummies. Like, really, all you need is like a cooler,
Yeah.
with, like prosecco and like some sushi,
That's it.
and just
Oh.
some
I'm
shade
up on the beach.
and some shade, and like they'll be like, "Wow, this is the best day
Solid.
ever."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
Getting some
And,
sun
like-
on my ass.
And I think that's a
Surf.
testament to just relationships in general.
Yeah.
So,
It
like,
is.
in addition to the granola bar you pack for yourself, just a bottle of prosecco and,
And
like
some
the public
sushi.
sushi can go a long way.
Depending on what Publix.
And then a girl that surfs.
When they made the sushi.
Really, I don't think I've ever dated a girl that surfs.
I need a drink.
I think it's could be difficult to do that because I think about like even like anybody else in the lineup, I'm slightly worried about their safety. So if I see someone like I hear like a board slap, I'm like, that wasn't like on top of their head, right? They're not unconscious, right?
You're
And I'll like
very
look around.
Sweet.
Yeah, well. And then if it's like someone
This
I'm
reminds me
in
of a
love
great
with
story.
or dating or something, like it's
Yeah.
gonna like totally screw up
Really? You're gonna be,
everything.
You wouldn't leave her side, would you? You'd stay right there next to her.
Well, it would be hard for me not to.
Que
That's
romantico.
so cute.
This is- like right now on Instagram and the whole world, there's hearts
my
going on
God.
everywhere.
Oh,
Like this guy's
God.
such a dreamboat.
Fucking
It really is.
It's kind of like that though. Like
That is so
Well, right-
sweet.
right.
if you want cuddles at night,
is
she
so
has to be
sweet.
alive.
Yeah.
So if she dies surfing,
Oh my God.
you're
My
gonna
husband has
kinda
literally
screw it
tried
up.
to take me out.
by going,
I'll
like,
be
babe, this one's
paddling
good.
out and
You're
he's
like, I don't
like-
know, this one looks like it's kind of breaking already.
He has
Go.
literally almost killed
You
me.
can settle arguments at the
Literally.
dishwasher that way, but that's a different story.
Right, that is a great way to settle arguments. Actually, it's a good idea. But as I've dated somebody where it wasn't a surfer, but was willing to give it a go. Went to Costa Rica with a bunch of friends, whatever. I was like, oh, there's waves. It's kind of big
go
on the
out there?
outside. It was big beach break on the outside, Santa Teresa.
my God.
And I was
Such
just
a
like,
true death.
you don't want to go in, just stay on the
Oh,
inside.
God.
But there was this, will about her that wasn't going to give
No,
up.
I'm going
and she
out
made
there with
it.
you.
And
I'm
she
going to
made
surf
it
right next
she
to you.
made it all the way to the outside. And I was kind of impressed. I was like, look at you.
That's awesome.
I was like, that's
Then
great.
what
High five.
And then that set came in.
So
yeah.
good. Like water came out of my nose from laughing so hard. But like it was funny because it was all of a sudden this wave
could
came around
picture it.
and picked a wave that wasn't going to be as horrible. I'm like, this is the one. And bless her heart, she just turned around and went blind faith, just fucking kept going.
Got pissed
And
over.
she just paddled into
Yeah.
it, stroked. I see her just lip launch, the board fly in the air, bounce up again, come up with all hair around her, just kind of freaking out. I paddled in a little bit
Trying
and
to
she's
breathe.
all right, and then starts smiling and laughing. I'm like, you're good.
Okay, you're solid.
You're fine.
You're
I'm like,
right.
you should probably go.
And
in.
at that moment,
you should
you're
probably
kinda-
go in right now.
That's kind of like that's
Or just paddle back out.
that's kind of like the Keeper moment. You're
Just
like,
Right.
go back out.
yeah, you
But,
smiled after that.
I mean-
you can go up. You can go like.
I wasn't nuts.
good.
I was impressed.
Give it a
I was
go.
impressed at that point. You were just like, hey, I'm gonna give it to you because fuck, it's
Oh.
that
I could
paddle
go
out here
there.
sucks. And,
You could
and she
it or
took
not,
it.
went
you know?
there.
You just
She
gotta
took
give it a
it.
shot.
She went there.
Caleb caught it, and he didn't catch it. Never mind.
Oh, the F-bomb?
Topic. Nope.
Oh, any of that? All right.
Yeah.
Well,
So next topic, where surfing takes you?
yeah.
That's
So, I mean,
it takes you to
it's-
Costa Rica, apparently.
That's a Florida phenomenon. Yeah.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
you know, it takes you to Costa Rica. It takes you into different types of careers. It takes you to the point where you open up a surf shop.
Tahiti,
It takes you to the
Fiji.
point where, you know, you start local blogs and forecasting.
Who knew?
It
You
takes
start
you to the point where you
saving
start
to go to
making jewelry.
Indonesia. Oh yeah.
I mean, so this is, so where are we at now? Where are we? You're in Fort Pierce.
I'm in Fort Pierce.
You're a
Fort
mom
Pierce.
of 3 boys.
Yep.
Your husband's
Three
is an angler.
I like
He
that.
is an angler, commercial fisherman, king fisherman. Yeah.
And you've tapped into this artistic side of you and creating jewelry, of which we carry here at First Surf Shop. Please swing by. Has been
Hashtag.
jewelry.
Please do. Has
You have a
been.
website?
HAZBIN.
Yeah. Exactly.
HAZBIN has been
I'm
jewelry.
Has been
I took
at
notes.
Etsy.
Oh, and
And
you're on
I also
Etsy?
have a Instagram, but it's _has_been at _has_been. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Check it out.
We'll link it in the notes.
Yes.
Thank
We
you,
will link
Caleb.
it in the notes.
Yeah.
Caleb,
Yeah, so I
Caleb,
started
that's on you.
metalsmithing, but I was always kind of like doing beading. I've always been very like crafty. I'm a
Right.
crafty one.
You're so
She's
crafty.
Cancer in
crafty.
me.
What?
Yeah.
She gets around.
She's good.
But now
Right,
I
yeah,
think
we
I've
should-
really found my craft.
And you enjoy it.
Yeah, I really do.
Because we were talking a little bit earlier about that, and you know, I mean, 3 boys. That's a freaking
That's a
full-time
lot.
job.
It's
and
yeah.
then and you
cuss
and
more
you
on
tap
that
and
one,
you
too.
tap into it late at night
circus.
after 9. All
Yeah.
the boys for the most part are asleep.
Totally.
And at that point, you go in and tap
My
into
mind,
you.
my
And I'm
brain.
thinking about me, and I'm like at 9
Yeah.
p.m. after everyone ever. I just want to just sit back and chill.
Yeah.
Last thing I want to do is get into anything, even if it's something that I enjoy.
But that's like chilling for me. I needed to quiet my mind.
Right.
Like that's just how it goes. So that's,
How long do you give at it? Do you go from to like midnight,
Well,
1
it
o'clock,
depends.
whatever?
The last couple of nights I stayed up to like 2 a.m. But that's just I get on
And the
these
boys are up at what
whims.
time?
Oh God. Well, we've been partying all summer.
Yeah.
So we've been staying up late, sleeping in, you know, like we're gonna have to change
Summer's so
that.
fun. I know. We're
I
about
got
another
some-
week and change away,
Yeah,
huh?
some melatonin. Start simmering them down. 9:30. Bring it down. Yeah.
9:30. It's like still
August
light out.
13th. August 13th is like
know, it's crazy.
9 days or
Yeah,
11
no,
days
we're about-
away.
yeah, about almost-
They're
Up in
going
New
back
York,
to
we would
school.
start after Labor Day, so it's like
I know.
September.
Yeah, and I almost felt like that's
First week
where
of
like things
September.
were at back in the day. I always
Yes.
thought that school started like more
It's super
September.
early
Then all of
now.
a sudden now it's like in August. You're like,
What?
there's still summer going on.
It was 4th of July and like July 6th rolls around and there's like back to school and I'm like, oh God.
It's my
Really?
birthday. Why are you doing this on my birthday? Well, it's not my birthday, but it's
Yeah,
your birthday.
it was my birthday. Thank you.
July 6th.
Thank you,
Happy
surfing.
birthday.
So, you know, where does it take you? I mean, so
Everywhere. Everywhere. Surfing will take you everywhere. That's just all in your mind. But I've been to Tahiti, Fiji, you know, like Hawaii.
What is
a
your
bunch.
favorite place that surfing is?
So this is a funny one I think about surfing, and the place it'll take you is that people always say like, "Oh, I go to these places, I go to these places." Surfers go to so many places,
So many places.
but they only go to the beach. And yeah, there's
Yeah,
all these things
true.
that
You
happen
don't get
on
to
the way,
explore. Yeah.
but you still go way more places than the average person.
Yeah, totally.
So
Definitely.
most people, you know, probably are like, "Oh yeah, I went to Costa Rica," and it's like, where did they go? They went to like the volcano, they went
Right,
to Hako
right.
or something. It's like, no, I went to, and you're like named like this crazy beach in the middle of nowhere. You're
Right.
like, wow, how did you even
What?
get there?
Yeah.
You drove there? Oh, we took a tour bus, or
Yeah.
you went to Tahiti. Who the hell's going to Tahiti?
Yeah.
Unless you like to surf,
Yeah.
or you got a lot of money.
Or a lot of money.
You know,
Yeah.
like those are the 2 main drivers to do things like that.
That was
so I think
modeling.
it's kind of
Yeah.
interesting. Oh, you went modeling there.
Yeah, modeling was like, yeah, Tahiti was one of the first places I ever went.
Were you
And-
surfing at the time?
No, I was not. I was like 15 when I went there. I shot
15
this
at Tahiti,
calendar called
jeez.
American Girl with Pamela Anderson, and this other God, I can't remember her last name, but David Frizzell was a photographer. We were in Tahiti for like 2 weeks, and I was sailing on a catamaran from like
Were you by
island to
yourself
island.
or
Yeah, I was by myself,
Wow.
but with the photographer
right.
and you know the.
You're still 15 by yourself.
I was
in
still
freaking
15
Fiji.
in Tahiti.
Tahiti, sorry.
Yeah. But it was awesome. That was a life experience for sure.
Is that your favorite trip?
No, I would say that my favorite all-time trip would have to be Fiji. I stayed at Namotu and Namotu
Oh.
Lefts and swimming pools. It was pretty rad. And I mean, you could back in the day, you had to call over and like get permission to go over to Tabarua, and like it's probably still the same way. But I never really got to surf Cloudbreak or restaurants, but I surfed over there, and I surfed this place called Desperations. Took the boat out there. Holy shit! That fucking wave is so gnarly. It's like all of a sudden there's just this reef in the middle of nowhere. There's like nothing. It's just like reef, you know, and it's just this wave, and it's shifty, and it was like I caught like 2 waves, and I was out. I'm like, I'm going back to the boats.
Got skin on my body. Didn't leave any in the
Solid.
reef.
I feel good. I'm just gonna surf that sunset in the boat too.
Oh, you any big trips that you took that were kind of? Oh man, I can't believe surfing took me here.
I guess probably the time I spent in Hawaii. Just that year. It was one of those where I was 23 and I wanted to starve
Those are the
in life.
best years, 20s.
I wanted to starve in life. And at the time, the girl I was dating got accepted to school out in Hawaii Pacific University. Awesome. And I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm going out there too. And I just kind of like threw caution to the wind. I just dropped $600 on sharing a room in a house with a bunch of college guys. That was like literally like a frat house college, like the kitchen. With this huge counter, and it was all just leftover beer.
Of course.
You know, and so it was like just leftover beer and ramen, and that's what we kind of did, and like really bad stained, you know, carpets and just bad
stained carpets.
Right, just like third hand.
There was no plugins, no incense,
but
nothing.
I remember
plugins were like the only thing
I remember it was pretty epic because it was the moment where I was in the shower, taking a shower with a Corona and drinking a Corona, putting it here and just looking out, and you can see the Mokulau Islands.
Ooh.
Just the Mokes over in the distance coming off of Kailua, and I was just like, look at those guys. Look at those.
As he cried about the filth around him and the clean shower, and he's just like, "Get this butt!" Oh god!
Oh, it was pretty sick. So
shower beer though.
That whole moment though. Because
why are you drinking Corona on the island? That's kind of weird.
He was. I think it was on sale probably at Safeway.
Probably, yeah. At Foodland.
Safeway or Foodland.
Yeah.
You know, it was one of those come on specials. It was that and ramen that were kind of. It was either that or some German beer that was always on. But for me, and again at 23, for me that was like a defining moment, being able to drink beer in the shower by yourself and looking outside and being
that's pretty
I'm
freaking
in paradise.
awesome.
But I hardly surfed the first probably like 4 months of living in Hawaii because I lived in Kailua and I didn't have a car, and it was the east sides of full trade winds, and it was only Flat Island out there that had any sort of surf. And I had to take an hour bus into Waikiki to go ahead and surf, and nobody looks favorably at you when you're holding a surfboard on the bus.
No, you can't.
Especially when it's an
Maui,
hour ride.
They will totally they'll be like, sorry, no surfboards. Yeah. So we're like, damn it, I'm a
I would have to. I'd have to store my board over at this juice shop called Lanikai Juice that I kind of started working at, and I would just store my board there, and I would just go back and forth and take the hour bus ride back and forth. Yeah. But for me it was
takes you those places.
Yeah, but it defined so much of my life, and I came back, and within a couple weeks started working with Quicksilver Retail down here on the beach, and that's
where I remember meeting you.
At Quicksilver.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. That's when I first was introduced to you.
Which was probably like 2000.
Yeah. And now that I think back, I think I remember Jerry talking about you, like, I know Christian. Yeah.
So Jerry and I were like friends since junior high school, and it started high school together, and then
Miami Beach.
Miami Beach Senior High, and then kind of just took it from there. And Jerry was a hot shredder down here. He was the golden boy. And,
he really was that hair.
Yeah, and then he
pretty hair.
And 8th grade into 9th grade, he was still a little Jerry, and then as soon as 10th grade happened, he teamed up with like Caesar and Joe Carter and SBU and Gavlin and Ham and Jimmy Pep and the whole crew, and that's kind of where things went.
That sounds like a whole story.
But a lot had changed. I mean, again, I wish we had Montero here. There was lots of shenanigans.
I love shenanigans.
It was just funny because I was never like the cool kid, so I was kind of off to the side.
Stop! You weren't the cool kid.
Not even close. I know it's hard to believe. Hard to believe, but it was funny to hear about these stories and hear these things that were going on. And you're like, at SBU for me back then took on this whole new lore where it was just like, fuck, look at these are the guys. Yeah. So it was interesting. But that was what surfing took me and got me into what I do now, and
here you
I'm so
are.
thankful for it.
And high five on that.
All right.
Super proud of you.
Bradley, what do you think? We sum it up?
I think we
do
got
well?
it here. I think we did a whole show.
Did we?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Got anything else, Amy?
Easily.
I don't know, I'm out of vodka.
So I ain't got much till you fill the cup up.
I think we're done here. Maybe we go to mini bar, catch one more.
Hey, let's go to minibar.
All right.
Go see
Well,
Felipe.
Radley.
Radley.
We are out of here.
Rolling
This
us
is
out of here.
episode 28. Amy Cobb, thanks so much for coming back around.
Thank you, surfing.
You got to come back around more often.
Of course.
It's always good.
Christian, studio audience.
Rosa. Yeah.
Caleb, thanks so much. Catch you guys next time.
Love you, Caleb.
Bra,
You're the
bra,
best,
bra,
Caleb.
bra,
Thank you. Thank you, surfing.
bra.